Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Burning Word book study. We're going through this book called The Burning Word, and it's created by Judith Kunst as a way for Christians to delve a little more deeply in the idea of the way in which the Jewish culture reads the Bible. And so if you haven't started at the beginning of our series, make sure and go back into the playlist and you'll find the first 3 days of this book study. But let's just get started. Turn it and turn it again, for everything is contained therein. As a child, I thought that turning my eyes upon Jesus called for nothing more than an unblinking gaze and an open heart. Now I see that it requires something more. The wise man took the flax and spun a cloth. He took the wheat and made flour. The ancient rabbis knew what any writer knows, that language must be worked and turned to make something new. Jewish Midrash asks, what happens when, for hundreds of years, we turn the eyes of our imagination again and again upon a single holy text? One answer is intimacy. Intimacy with the author of Torah, a God who is at once writer and reader and word. A God who in some sense has given us the Bible for the same reason anyone shares a book with a friend: to start a conversation, to start something new. Midrash is elusive. No fully accurate and encompassing definition exists, nor have collected translations of the many rabbinic conversations with the text become widely available. There are as many ways to make midrash as there are midrashim. This book, therefore, is not a formal introduction. It is an attempt to capture something of the essential flavor of how Jews read the Bible. Here are a few strands of biblical flax spun into cloth. Here is a handful of wheat, ground, kneaded, baked, and set on cloth. So that's the end of chapter 1. What I really find compelling in those last few sentences that I just read is that this thought: the ancient rabbis knew what any writer knows, that language must be worked and turned to make something new. Also, what I love is the definition of intimacy. Intimacy with the author of Torah, a God who is at once writer and reader and word. A God who in some sense has given us the Bible for the same reason anyone shares a book with a friend: to start a conversation, to start something new. I wonder how it has been in your Christian walk, or maybe it's not even a Christian walk. Maybe it's just a walk on a spiritual path, a path to understanding who you are, understanding why you're here, trying to make sense of things. Have you ever been invited to read the Bible in a way that is God wanting to have conversation with you? That when you're looking at the words, they're not just dead words on a page, but they really are an opportunity to enter in to an understanding not only of what it is to follow God, but also, who am I? Because I don't think you can really understand who you are if you haven't at least contended on some level with, why were you created? Now, if you're at the place where you still believe that there is no real reason for the creation of beings, that again is a conversation that can be had. Because I think that at each time in our lives, you have to come to the understanding that you don't just set it like a template and those are your thoughts for the rest of your life. Many of us will contend with a parent dying. Many of us will contend with a death of a child, a death of a spouse, a death of a close friend, an illness, not being able to achieve what you've desired all of your life, setting a plan and it not going the way you thought it should. I mean, these are real conversations that even when you try to walk through life and not really engage them, there is something that many have called the dark night of the soul, where there's nowhere to run and you're there with your thoughts. And so it's really good news to find out that God wants to have a conversation with us. There are things, even as I sit right now, that I really honestly can say, I have no idea why they have to be the way they are. Like, really, there is no logical reason. And I'm sure you have things like that too. And so how do you come to that place of continuing on despite that? Despite things not going as you've planned? The only way I can figure out how to do it is through community and conversation, through quiet and solitude, but also meditation. And so as you think on this today, I would invite you to come up with your own definition of what intimacy means. And then open up to the idea of there is a creator that wants to have a conversation with you. I'm so glad you stopped by. Again, make sure and like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for the notifications if this is something that you find really intriguing and you'd like to partake in. I'd also invite you to bring along a friend or two and really take this as a sounding board to have these conversations within a group of friends that you really respect and appreciate. Thanks so much for stopping by.